Stand for the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Motion to approve the minutes of the September 9th, 2021 regular board meeting.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Been moved, supported that we approve the minutes of the September 9th, 2021 regular board meeting. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carried. You've received a copy of the treasurer's report. Any comments? If not, please place them on file. The October Planning Commission meeting was canceled. September minutes are not available. There were no minutes available. Was there an appeal?
No.
I don't think so. Anyone with anything to bring before the board at this time? Yes, sir.
Okay, so I was here, my name is Jim Wong, I was here a couple meetings ago, and I was complaining about the fee that the city of Manistee was charging me every year, for me being privileged of hooking up to the city of Manistee's sewage. Well, I got with Connie told me what to say, and I talked to the treasurer of the city of Manistee, and he got back with me a couple weeks later. He says, yes, you're right, and I want to personally thank the township for looking after the residents for their saving me a figure. I'm 69 right now, and if I live to 85, it's going to save me over $20,000 for the fee that I won't have to pay for you guys. I want to personally thank you for doing that for me.
Thank them.
You don't get better. Always.
I want to talk, Tom, he said that, when I talked to the treasurer, he says, yes, I agree with you. I had that $1,900 bill with me. He says, there'll be adjustment to it, and then a couple weeks later, he sent me a bill for $1,200. So right off the bat, it saved me $700. So I'm going to get back with her. She wanted me to put on the file what I wrote to, what we gave to the city of Manistee's treasurer, just in case somebody else wants to follow my steps and go out for that thing.
Very good.
So it was very nice. I'm very happy.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? County Commissioner.
All right, good evening. Last board meeting, Shirley Madden was appointed to represent the Democrats, and Jim Maurer was appointed to represent the Republicans on the County Board of Canvassers. Bob Schulke was appointed to the Park and Rec Commission for another term. We received our annual report from MSU Extension. We had a public hearing to change the bylaws for the County Planning Commission, and basically it was nothing more than a change of may as opposed to shall in regard to meeting dates. So if there is not enough on the agenda, they wouldn't have to meet, just one of those minor changes. We had a public hearing, we adopted our budget for this fiscal year that we started October 1. That's $12,322,881. That's $193,000 deficit, which is not unusual for us to have when we pass our budget. It's rare though for us ever to not be in the black when the fiscal year ends. I'll tell you that historically. Some of the changes in this year's budget, Eric Sullivan is our Veterans Counselor. He has gone full-time. We also added funding for another correction officer for the jail. We also are looking at a grant writer, which I've talked to you folks in the past. We're looking to contract that because, as I've said in the past, I think we're leaving too much money on the table. So we're hoping to be able to access some extra dollars there. And we also have a truancy officer in place now for the entire county. And that is the ISD superintendent that's charged with that duty, which obviously is not a good fix or mix. So in the process of that, the ISD has worked out a program with us. We originally were talking 50-50 for funding for that position. The ISD had the opportunity and they stepped up and said they can cover that funding entirely for this fiscal year. So that was a nice little pleasant surprise for the budget as well. If you read the paper, we had a little bit of controversy on the commission, which doesn't happen a heck of a lot, but we did have a little discussion and debate in regard to zoning and zoning administration and enforcement. As you know, we're doing zoning administration for 8 local municipalities, and if you're going to do that, then they increased it to where they wanted zoning enforcement as well. And Larry Gibson, who is past law enforcement, he is our zoning enforcement officer, and the debate became around the ability to carry concealed. When he's doing that job, nothing more than personal safety, nothing more, so that got to be a point of issue for Commissioner Schmidt and Commissioner Coons as well. We debated it quite lengthily, and it was a 5-2 vote, just to let you know. And we are going to maintain that, and I signed a contract this week for Mr. Gibson to continue that service. Medical care, we've got a millage coming up in November, as you know, and there's a very lengthy article in the News Advocate, and it's, for the most part, very well written. It goofs up on the millage by quite a large mistake. But having said that, the medical care, I don't think there's anybody that I know of anywhere that doesn't realize that that's a very tough job, and that facility is in very much need of renovation. And because of the state of the facility and it being a tough job, it just makes it more difficult to get not only residents, but also to get personnel to fill those slots. Their census is down. I think the report I got today is like 46. They have 100 beds available. They're down to 46. But again, it's one of those compound problems. Yes, sir.
Did that happen right after?
No.
Okay.
That's all COVID related. Before COVID, our census numbers were in the 80s as a rule, low to mid 80s. But then when the COVID hit, it changed the dynamics. I can't even begin to imagine working there, right, the last 2 years. It's got to be just absolutely ridiculously tough for personnel, for families with residents there. I mean, they're just no good at it. And to the best of my knowledge, I think it's accurate if I tell you, they have not had any resident come down with COVID in that facility. And they've had very few staff test positive. And I get quite a few emails in regard to somebody who gets the instant test and is positive, and then it comes back negative when you do the next level test. It's been a struggle, but the millage, and here's the catch, everything was put out there and put together pre-COVID with the intent is between Medicaid and Medicare funding, they get reimbursed at the rate that they need to cover expenses. So that begs the question, why hasn't this been done before? Well, until they started talking about renovations, I don't think they were aware, to be perfectly honest. So in the process of that, the premise is basically seed money for the first year to pay the millage, and then after that, that reimbursement rate should suffice to pay the majority, if not all of that millage. So we, as the county commission, would not have to allocate that. Now keep in mind, and as I told them up in Onekama yesterday, don't say, Don, you gave me a bad bill of goods, my tax bill in 3 years, if it passes, is X. Because right now the numbers are so goofed up because of the census. You can't charge if you don't have people in beds, obviously. So there's a lot of variables, but there's no question that facility needs to be renovated.
Jeff, if I may interrupt you,
Yep.
I apologize, I haven't followed that, but I have people asking me, what's that gonna do to my taxes? What is it for 1,000 taxable, do you know?
Well, it's just a little over $1 million.
1.07, I believe, for the second year.
Yeah.
0.33 something for the first year, 34 cents
Okay, 34 cents per 1,000 tax on
for the first year. Yeah, 7.07 for the second year.
What is it, 1.07?
Yes.
So what is that, $10 a thousand? Is that how a mill is? $10 a thousand or a buck a thousand?
It's a dollar.
Dollar a thousand.
Okay, thank you.
All right, the other thing we're working on is there's several local units and different agencies pitching in to try to get someone to focus on housing and try to move housing forward, which I can tell you for me personally is a little bit of a hard sell. I've signed off on it, but I've got to see some tangible results. It's a 3-year program that we've all are committing to. The county's aspect of funding it is $20,000 a year, and it's going to be ARPA funding that's come from the feds to help facilitate that. Again, we need to see some tangible results, and I think we've got to figure out a way to make sure that happens.
Liz, are you in the county, are you in the foundation?
County, city, foundation, Filer's even talking about it a little bit, I believe, what I heard out of Al Fry yesterday. There's a number of different agencies that are chipping in on it. We aren't quite there yet for full funding, but we're not too far away. The Fairground Pavilion, as you know, was down because we had a leak there at the coolers in the pavilion. The county took care of that expense, and the Lions are back in it, as Dwayne can attest to. So that's good. Too bad it didn't happen a little bit sooner. They could have probably had them in there for Onekma days, but the problem was that the coolers were not ready at that time. And Dennis, I heard you were 2 nights ago up in Arcadia for the 5-year rec plan, and some language was adjusted there because I got a call from Janice that morning, which I did not see the plan as of yet at that time. In that language, I got a call from Rob Carson this afternoon, and they have cleaned that language up. I haven't seen the rewrite, but I shared that same concern Janice shared with me in regard to the county taking everything over for $1 for 99 years. I said,
Yeah,
I don't
that's,
know why we'd ever want to do that.
what they're gonna do now, in a nutshell, in the rec plan, there's a suggestion that the county could take over any parks that you want, or all the parks, and make a contract like they do, like you would with the DNR, it's $1 for 99 years or 100 years. Well, in that rec plan, it specifically states that more or less you will do that. So, the group at Arcadia got together and said they felt that they could speak for the other municipalities and say, you know, you have to reword this, that it's available, you can do it, but you don't have to.
Well, as Carson talked to me tonight, he said the catch becomes, let's say you're talking about trails, and you've got going through 3 different jurisdictions, and it's about a grant, say
Right?
trust fund grant. That's where you want to have that focal point, which is one of the reasons that the rec commission was formed, was to be that clearinghouse for that. That was the primary reason we were sold to have the rec commission put in place.
Rather than have, and to put that in layman's terms, rather than have Manistee Township and Onekma Township and Arcadia Township write 3 different grants for a trail that's submitted to go through the areas, the rec commission would submit it as one. Because the DNR won't look at 3 different people, because Onekma gets it, Manistee and Arcadia don't, then you got a sidewalk that goes nowhere. I mean, that's basically, you know, so, you know, I mean, it's just, yeah, that was part of it. But the members here tonight, Jeff, have got a black and white copy of the rec plan and.
The fresh one with the rewrite?
No.
No.
Okay, well, that's the one point you folks need to be aware of.
Oh,
because
there's other things.
That's
See, I'm not,
what commenting.
we're not gonna put out a full-fledged report until they're all done.
Yeah, but like at the regional summit we were talking at, it's got to get done within a certain time frame, and if any local unit drags their feet and doesn't accomplish it, and all 21 don't sign off on it, then
Yeah.
we all suffer another year, because we won't be able to access those trust fund dollars.
And what is the deadline?
January something.
Yeah,
So, a couple months away.
yeah, there's time to make the comment.
Okay.
Our public hearing will be at that next board meeting,
Okay.
on November 9th. But on that subject, you suggested that the county is anticipating hiring a grant writer. Is that
Well,
going to be,
yeah.
what's the availability of that grant writer?
That I don't know as of yet. We haven't, we need to, we're looking at probably trying to find someone to contract do that job as opposed to actually putting it in.
That means they're going to become available countywide?
Well,
It may be premature.
yeah,
asking that
I don't have a quality answer for you on that. I
Okay.
can tell you it's something that's coming out of the budget. We're obviously going to be concerned mostly about the county, but there again, as I've said in the past, when it comes to that stuff, you know, are we going to get grants to run the courts? Are we going to get grants to run the jail?
Yeah.
I mean,
question. It may be premature, but
well, it's just, I mean, there's certain things, there's funding out there for certain things and certain things are not.
there's
There's
funding out
not,
there for everything.
there's not a lot of things that we do that are probably grant oriented. But other than positions and, you know how that goes, you grow your government and everybody doesn't mind expanding, but nobody ever wants to contract.
Yeah, good. Any other questions for Jeff?
I have one regarding the truancy officer, countywide truancy officer. I'm not sure how much the county plans on paying the truancy officer, but my thought is, before we spend money on a truancy officer for the whole county, we might want to talk to the prosecutor to see if we're going to follow up with what the truancy officer wants, because I know in the past, truancy has done a lot, got to the court, and the court said we got bigger fish to fry, so why are we bothering with this?
It's an existing deputy that's doing that position as well. That it's already started. Now I gotta think of the name. Cameron Clark is involved in this, and that discussion has been had with Jason Haig as well. So it's, to say it's gonna be seamless, I can't tell you that. We're still in its infancy, but it has started, and again, truancy during COVID time has been probably a whole different world than what normal times would be as well.
I know some time ago along those same lines, Connie, not with a truancy officer, but with this recycling, bins, black and white on film.
Yeah.
Cameras, prosecute them, prosecutor throw it out, or even bigger fish in the ocean.
Anything else?
That's it for me.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yep.
Karen, there's nothing going on in your office?
There were 2 land use permits issued, 2 parcel divisions were requested. There was a request for a variance and the fee was paid. There are 10 construction permits requested and 1 re-inspection fee was paid. I did write the letter to Mr. Gary Popovitz. He's the attorney for the Manistee Real Estate Holding Company.
The old school.
Yep, the old school property, to address the conditions of the property and the deteriorating buildings. Friday is the deadline for the 30 days to clean up the property, the yard, not the buildings. I gave them 60 days for that. I've not received any feedback or response. I know Dennis hasn't as well. The next step is to either issue a citation or have Richard Wilson draft a letter. Which would you guys prefer?
I would suggest Richard to write the letter first. I don't know how the rest of the board feels, but
Well, he was able to get things cleaned up the last time, Richard was working directly with the owner and the owner's attorney, so.
let's try that avenue.
Okay. Copies of the draft master plan were mailed out, digital copies, sorry, were mailed out to all entities involved. The comment period deadline is November 23rd, 2021. A public hearing will be scheduled by the Planning Commission at their next meeting on November 3rd. And then a preliminary site plan was presented by Jeremy Nowak for Bob's Roofing at the August meeting, Planning Commission meeting, and the Planning Commission gave preliminary approval for him to start clearing his property, which is in the Renaissance zone, and then to construct a driveway. And then Guy and I started work on that and get that to Richard.
Okay.
And that's it.
The covenants that Karen referred to are, excuse me, when Renaissance Home was developed, there were covenants between the city of Manistee and the prospective owners of any properties out there. They're pretty restrictive. Give you an example of, so if, excuse me, if you're going to do something out there, you have to have so many employees. It was all, gosh, I'm sorry, it was all part of the Renaissance program, which was defunct in '99, I think. So now it's just property for sale, and we don't no longer need to comply with the Renaissance stipulations. Some of them are still good and we'll keep in
Right.
force, but we'd like them to just follow our zoning ordinance
Mhm.
for future construction. Okay, any questions for Karen? Chuck's not here. I have a message from our liquor inspector who's working, nothing new to report for the month of September. All establishments are in compliance. Okay, township updates. I have a few things. I was in contact with MDOT to see if they're putting their 5-year plan together for projects on the US highways. And I once again begged them to do something with 31 between M55 and Van Buren Street. But unfortunately, they said it's still on the schedule for 2025. M55 bridge, they started pouring the deck today. They were supposed to pour about between 160 and 175 yards of concrete today. Pretty interesting process. As Jeff suggested, they're going to try and they're hoping for the first week of December. Pickleball courts are going to be partially shut down October 18th. They're going inside at the Armory. There will be 3 nets left up until snow flies. The veterans have a food box program going on. Eric was here. We spoke about him. He asked if he could put one here at the town hall. I asked that he doesn't put it here. I don't want to get it confused with the drop box that we have for paying taxes, for absent ballots, for absent ballot applications. So long story short, he's placed that box up by the fire station. It's by the utility pole up there by the fire station. Contains canned goods for anyone who is in need of canned goods. They will maintain it. They'll keep it stocked. It's an ambitious program. The office has been, Diane and her assistants have been very, very busy with election work. As I stated in the past, her office works very hard to make absolutely sure that everybody that can vote does vote, or has a chance to vote. Hats off to that group. Miller Road is finished. The bill from the road commission has been received, and that bill was actually $15,000 less than what they quoted, so.
Party charm.
Yeah. Anything else? That's all I got. You guys got anything? You received a copy of the bills? What are your wishes?
I'll make a motion to allow the bill paid as presented and along with any additional incoming bills.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved supported. We pay the bills as presented from September 1st to September 30th, as well as incoming bills. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. None opposed? Carried. The MTA meeting is scheduled for October 28th in Bear Lake at 6 o'clock. That should be the last one of the year, according to their schedule that they posted earlier this year. Excuse me. Zoning Board of Appeals does have an appeal on October 26th, 2021 at 6 p.m. here at the hall. If any other appeals arise, that will be on November 2nd. at 6 PM here at the hall. The special election.
It will not be on November 2nd, because that's election.
Are you gonna cancel?
Yes,
Okay, I didn't see the cancellation notice, so I didn't know.
well, we can't have it when there's an election, so.
Okay. So is there an alternate date for that? or-
The October 6th is the alternate date.
Okay. Okay.
October 26th, sorry, is the alternate date.
Okay, and that's gonna take care of, all right, okay, none in November.
Correct.
Okay. The special election will be held Tuesday, November 2nd, 2021, from 7 AM to 8 PM here at the hall for the purpose of voting for the Manistee County Medical Care. The Planning Commission is scheduled for Wednesday, November 3rd at 9 AM here at the hall. The next regular meeting of the Manistee Township Board will be Tuesday, November 9th. That's not our normal schedule, but there's something going on later on in the month, so. November 9th, the regular board meeting is at 7 PM, but the public hearing for the rec plan will be at 6 PM. Any other public comment? Any other comment from the board? Other than watch yourself out there, there's lots of deer and they're starting to move. Motion's in order.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Is there support? Been moved, supported, we adjourn.
Yeah.
All in favor? Aye.
That's gonna be.
Opposed, none? Carried. Thank you very much.